So I got to talk to George Galloway for a quick second. So let's take a listen to the little bit of comments that I was able to make and his response, but he didn't allow me to make all my points. So I guess I did law. Once you give him a law, then he just kind of takes over, and I didn't make all my points. So let me finish up with my points after you listened to my question and his answer. So this is me calling into the mother of all talk shows with George Galloway.
On the ceasefire. John, welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, George Galloway. This is very exciting. So I got a couple of notes here, so just give me a chance to spit it all out.
Okay, welcome.
Okay, so you have the Israelis are still airstriking Gaza. So you had 18 that was killed yesterday. They just killed 50 today. I'm just kind of, promises are meant to be broken, so I'm just kind of worried about if this deal could be like some sort of underhanded deal. You've had Donald Trump, who's lied 30,000 times in the first term. He likes to lie to the contractors. He was known for getting the contractors to do all the work, and then he wouldn't pay them. So I'm just kind of curious, maybe this could be a way to lower the guard of Hamas, only to attack them as soon as they lower the guard. So I think it is a welcome development. I'm very, excited about it. But basically, you hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You're absolutely right, John, to be skeptical and cautious about it. I myself think that there will be a ceasefire and it will hold. And I think it will hold because Trump's put his name on it. He's claimed, and I think rightly, that he achieved it, and he will not want it to go up in flames in just a few days or weeks. Secondly, I think he has big ambitions of using his leverage with the next king of Saudi Arabia, the heir presumptive, MBS, to use his relations with him to make a new dispensation in the Middle East. And that requires a Palestine which is at least quiet, if not free, definitely not liberated, then at least quiet. And so they cannot go on killing large numbers of Palestinian women and children and think that countries like Saudi Arabia can do business with them. I think that Trump is the master of the deal. I'm rereading his book, The Art of the Deal. I can already see some of the modus operandi in that book, in his play for Greenland, for example, in his play for the Panama control, in his play for Canada. The Princess Trudeau better get busy because they might not be an independent state for very much longer. John, thanks for the call.
Okay, so he said a bunch of things there. So when it comes to Canada, the last time we had a war with Canada was the War of 1812, and they burnt down our capital. They burnt down the White House, and they burnt down the naval yards. I'll give George Galloway a little bit of credit. He didn't let me spit out all my points. But Saudi Arabia, I didn't, think about the relationship that he would need with Saudi Arabia. When it comes to giving it to Biden, he does want to take the credit. He wants to take the credit, and he wants to make the previous administration, look bad. So, there is, Nobel Peace Prize people are talking about. So, he'll take the accolades, right? He'll take the victory, but that's his whole deal is attack, admit nothing, and to declare victory. So he mentioned the art of the deal. Okay, George Galloway. So you mentioned the art of the deal, but if you read the art of the deal, Trump's book that he had published, many years ago, he goes ahead and admits that he only tells people what they want to hear. He tells people what they want to hear. Now, to the points that I wasn't able to make, in order to get this ceasefire agreement actually passed, you're going to need formal ratification by Israel's cabinet. You're going to need formal ratification by Israel's cabinet. You're also going to, there's two phases to the deal. So the first phase is that there's going to be 33 of the prisoner hostages are going to be released to Palestine, and then there's supposed to be like 1,000 of the prisoner hostages that Israel's going to release out of 9,000. So that's only 15%. You only got 15% of the Palestinian prisoner hostages that are being released, whereas Israel's getting 100%. The second phase of the deal is you get 42 days. In 42 days from now, you're going to have, or from Sunday, so the deal's supposed to take effect on Sunday. The second phase of the deal is supposed to happen in 42 days from now. So that's when the rest of the prisoner hostages are going to be released. So they're not releasing all the prisoner hostages at once. There's going to be a 42-day lapse. So you still need that formal ratification. There's going to be a 42-day lapse. And then finally, but not, not the end all, but we've already had a ceasefire deal before. November 2023. There is a ceasefire deal that had already happened, and there is a prisoner exchange. And what happened to that ceasefire deal that had happened in November 2023? The damn deal fell through. Both sides weaseled out of it. So promises are meant to be broken. There's also some questions about, is the NSO group, the sanctions, is it going to be dropped? So that means the Israeli spy group is going to have, their power is going to come back. And then something about Hassan Abi had mentioned that there was $100 million was for the West Bank. Something that he got paid $100 million for the West Bank. If they take the West Bank, then that kind of means that there's never going to be a Palestinian state. And then that means that they're all going to be stuck in Gaza, and Gaza will be the main concentration camp. So, I wish I would have been able to speak a little longer, George Galloway. I had some better points here. I took some notes, and, I guess in terms of confidence, while I was waiting on the line, I was sitting there taking the notes, and so I guess next time I'll just have to spit out all my points, right? So I only said two things, that Israelis were still killing the Gazans, and that Trump's a fucking liar. And that was all that I was able to say to George Galloway. I do appreciate it. I like how they actually ran the phone lines. He answered lots of people's questions, and I had called in and I kind of let it ring like 4 or 5 times, and they didn't pick up. And then later on, they called me back. And then they said, all right, we'll try to get you on. And then I guess I got on the list, and they called me back, and then I waited on the line. So I guess I could have, kept on speaking and didn't, ask the question just to kind of get, you're listening, right? You're still paying attention. And then, oh yeah, by the way, we've already had a ceasefire deal, and it went through. It fell through. They weaseled out of it. They reneged on the deal. And then Israel still has to formally ratify this deal. Are they going to formally ratify the damn thing? And then the second phase is 42 days from now. The second phase is going to be 42 days from now. That's plenty of time for the deal to fall through like it did the first time. So there you go. The George Galloway. John Masters was on the George Galloway show, and I guess he says it's good to be skeptical, but I'd never thought about the Saudi Arabia angle, but when he mentions that it's such a smart deal with Greenland and Canada and Panama, I don't think that's very. I don't know. I don't see that. I don't think that's a good thing. It sounds like he's being very whimsical when it comes to his imperialism. Hey, I'm president now, so why don't we just, let's take South Africa. Why are you going to do that? I don't know. Let's take Vietnam, too. That's a great idea. Let's see. What else are we going to take? I know. Let's take Puerto Rico. We've already taken territories, and we haven't included them into the American, we don't have citizenship for the Puerto Ricans. And if we're going to have a 51st state, Puerto Rico's already voted to be the 51st state. And we haven't accepted that either. So thanks for taking my call, George Galloway.